Yep, I got green marks, so we're good to go. Don't need to check. All right, let's go ahead and get this started. Yo, peoples! QShu92 here to bring you more of One Piece Pirate Warriors 4. You guys can obviously see where my headspace has been for the past couple of seconds. But welcome back to yet another One Piece chapter reaction and review. We went on break week before, and the last chapter we left with Oden and the Nine Scabbards facing off against Kaido, but it ended with their capture and imprisonment and their eventual execution by death by boiling. So now we get to see what happens after the break, and we finally get to get into it. Hey, that one do it. And Grant Dolman, it's good to see all of you here. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm glad my microphone is working perfectly, so I don't have to spend those extra minutes trying to get it all sorted out. I figured out what was wrong, so we shouldn't have any more problems going forward. All right, chapter 971, sentenced to boil. Now, I don't do this all that often for characters that I voice, but apparently, given the recent episodes of One Piece where they finally let us hear what Orochi sounds like, I'm going to have to go from that sniveling little snake of a man. I'm going to have to go even deeper for him. It's because the voice for Orochi is deep. It's like, it's kind of, something like that, but it's not that little voice snake in the grass voice that I kind of gave Orochi the first time I voiced him. So I'm going to have to, change it up a little bit for Orochi should we see him in this chapter. So, yeah. All right. Gang Beige, Oh My Family, Volume 20. Keep going, Gotti. It's all up to you now. So, Gotti is the only one who's still got it. I guess he's going after Chiffon still, even though he kind of got bodied by the Navy, the Marines that were taking Chiffon away in the last Oh My Family chapter that we saw. So now it's up to Gotti to go after him. But apparently he's moving so fast that he's sweeping up people's clothes right next to them. Psycho Ghost Rider, good to see you. Light Ruler 003, it's good to see you as well. Welcome back if you've been here before. If not, then welcome. Yo, what's good, Wushu? Oh, I've never been called Wushu before. So that's the first. All right, let's go ahead and get it done.
Don't eat that, Momonosuke. It hasn't been tasted for poison yet. Mother, why is my life in danger?
And, spell correct. Hey, it's all good, which tells me that you're probably watching from your mobile phone, you're watching from your phone, aren't you? I hate autocorrect so much. I hate it so much. I'm trying to say the word too. It says tip or top, even though I don't use those words in a sentence, at least of all recently. I just don't like autocorrect. It annoys me. I really need to stop using swipe on my phone's keyboard and just manually enter in. That's just a minor thing, mobile thing. I hate it, so I'm going to have to change that.
Don't eat that, Momonosuke. It hasn't been tasted for poison yet. Mother, why is my life in danger?
And then Sukiyaki's right hand is tasting it for him.
Because your father is a great man, and you are meant to one day carry this nation on your shoulders.
It's safe for you, Lord Momonosuke, Lady Hiyori.
Mother, is it true that today father will be...
And then Momonosuke is crying.
Brother?
Oh, they found out. And it's right here. Wow, they're all lined up. Yo, it's a giant pot. Everyone that was linked with Oden are standing right in front of a giant pool of burning water. The public execution of Kozuki Oden and his 9 vassals will begin momentarily. Hurry, it's not every day you get to see a boiling. It only takes a second because they use oil. We don't want to miss this. People are actually looking forward to Oden being boiled. And who's stepping up first? So he couldn't beat Kaido in the end, even for a fool of a lord. I thought his strength was the real deal. So what was he good for anyway? and we have Kaido, and we have Kaido, and we have Orochi sitting in. And I want to say it looks like Kaido may have his side bandaged, but the detail on his chest and stomach area, it makes it look like he either has bandages on or it's just like the view that they're giving his chest. But given the fact that he just got a massive scar on his side from Oden in the last chapter, I would think he'd have some bandages over it. Then again, we don't know the full intricacies of Kaido's invulnerability or why he can't die. So maybe there's more to him than we realize as far as, his nigh indestructibility goes. But Oden and Orochi are sitting in, drinking sake at this whole procession. And then Oden is the first person up. And he looks at Kaido, and Kaido's all like, "What? I request that you give me a chance. It is imperative that I survive." And Kaido just looks angry at this. "Into the pot already. No more jokes. Don't beg for your life now." And the guy who's trying to push Oden in slips and falls into the oil itself. Yeah! What the? Yeah! Help! Help me! Dude gets set on fire from just being in the water itself. Crawls out burning, and he's literally almost... Wow. Ah, no, stay away! The guy gets out of the pot, still screaming, but he falls over. He's dead. And the water was so hot. Okay, so if I have any Game of Thrones fans out there, you kind of know what happened. Not water, oil. Sorry, my bad. Oil. They're using oil to boil them, not water. My bad, Grant. Thank you for correcting me. But if any of you have watched like the opening episodes of Game of Thrones and Daenerys' brother, well, we all know the outcome that happened to him. Picture that, but all over your body. Your entire body. And then you're just dead. Not just, a crown for a king. No, it's just like over your whole body. Yeah, that's basically how the dude looks. The oil just completely melted him. He's like literally just a wet skeleton, so to speak. The good old days when Game of Thrones was great. May the first half of that show rest in peace, and the other half die in a fire. Now we're back to Oden again. All 10 of us will enter the pot together. If any of us withstand the boiling for the amount of time you agree upon, please let them go free. Yo, what is he suggesting? What is he suggesting? If they manage to stay in the oil as long as Kaido dictates, then they can go free? What the actual heck is going on? Lord Oden, what is this? Withstand. This is an instantaneous death sentence. I'm gonna still keep it snivelly, but I'm still have a little bit of a deep tone to it. Go get a clock to count the time. Yes, sir. You have 1 hour. Because I remember he did that for the anime. Let's see how long you last. Let's see you last that long. It's enough time to get lightheaded in the bath. Do I have your word on that? Of course. He still won't just give up. Can you make it quick? I've got errands to run. Pathetic to the very end. They have no idea what's going on. Oden jumps into the oil. And, well, needless to say, he feels it. He's screaming at the top of his lungs because, it's a giant pot of oil and it's burning him. Not even someone as strong as Oden can withstand his effects for very long. It's almost instantaneous that he feels the whole full effect of it. Don't let our Lord go alone! After him! And we'll meet again in the afterlife! All of you, get on top of the plank! But Oden is grabbing it. What the heck is going on? Yo! They all get on top of the plank, but Oden is keeping every single one of them from dropping in. He's holding them all up on the plank itself. Kanjuro, Kiku, Kawamatsu, Inuarashi, Nekomamushi, Raizo, Denjiro, Ashura Doji. He's holding all of them up. Kinemon, he's holding them all up to keep them from... Yo. Yo, this man is an absolute mad lad. No, Lord Oden, stop this! It ought to be the other way around, Lord Oden. We should be the ones to hold you up. Lord Oden! Shut up and stay there. This is an order. Lord Oden! Hey, what's going on? His vassals aren't even touching the oil. Lord. But all 10 of them are within the pot, it's true. Very entertaining. Well done, Oden. Oh, so it does look like Kaido does have bandages on. Just the lines the way it was drawn is just very, very closely pressed against his body. He's holding up 9 great big men on his own. That would take incredible physical strength already, but to do it while standing in boiling oil? And Shinobu's in the crowd, just watching this all go on. This dude is lasting. Wow. And he's holding them all up. Do you know what type of mental fortitude you have to ignore something that can literally burn your skin right off, as it just shown with the guy who died from getting doused in it? Not only that, but to also concentrate on keeping the people you're holding up while you're being boiled alive. And the clock is ticking, and you can see the pain on Oden. Wow. Lord Oden, put us down! What's the matter? It hasn't even been 1 minute yet. And the clock is still going. And it's just nothing but silence in the next panel, as you see this massive pot with him being boiled alive. And it's just, everyone's just sitting there. And everyone is wondering, like, how strong can one man's skin be? And the fire's still going on. The oil's still bubbling. I feel as though the heat alone is going to bake me alive. Stop whining, Raizo. I feel as though the heat alone is going to bake me alive. Stop whining, Raizo, or I'll really give you something to complain about. All we gotta do is stand here. That was Nekomamushi. I couldn't tell who it was. Don't move, cat. The shifting will weigh on him below. And Oden, wow. He's been holding him so long that his muscles are actually his body is starting to tear, and his skin and blood is starting to come out of his arm. Blood is starting to come out from his feet. And you see that he's getting tired. He's bleeding from the mouth and the nose. 4 minutes pass. I heard it was only supposed to take a second. This is surprisingly boring. I thought he'd be screaming and dying in agony and such. I'm gonna get going now. I can't waste any more of my time on this fool of a lord. And Shinobu heard that, and she immediately tackles the guy. How dare you call him that? Say it one more time and I'll end your life. What's that woman doing? Look out, she's got a sword. A kunoichi? And she's huffing with breath and she's mad. Stop. You are the fools. That Shinobu captain, because Fukuro Kuju and the Oniwa Banshu are there as well. What is Shinobu doing? Why is she making a scene? Who do you think has been ensuring that you all live in peace? If you lose Lord Oden now, you'll all come to understand. You'll know just how much misery he kept at bay. Orochi is no shogun or even a dictator. Orochi doesn't want to rule over a populace. Oh, we finally get to find out what goes on a little bit in the throne room. If you ask me, every single person in this land is guilty of persecuting the Kurozumi clan. I don't care if every last one of them dies. I took the shogun's throne to drive this country into ruin, to complete my vengeance. This dude only became the shogun because he just wants to destroy Wano. He doesn't care about the people. Bringing in Kaido just furthers that goal.
This is the will of the Kurozumi clan. Years ago, my grandpa committed a crime and was forced to commit seppuku. Our clan fell into ruin, and that was one thing. But then the rest of the family left behind was chased and terrorized by strangers who claimed they were performing justice. And apparently the woman that's pushing away Orochi, I'm gonna guess that's Orochi's mom or maybe his relative that knew him. It's the Kurozumis! So pretty much, the Kurozumi clan was treated just like Don Quixote do Flamingo and his family when Homing brought his family to, well, like regular areas with normal people when they ceased to become world nobles. People around them found out who they were and decided to punish them because of just who they were, just like Doflamingo. They beat us, threw us in the river, killed us. I was so terrified of the mob of fools that I couldn't sleep. The man who committed the crime was long dead at this point. The bloodline of the daimyo killer. Apparently, even a child can be a criminal if he happens to have the name Kurozumi. And this is the conversation going on with Oden and Orochi in the throne room that we didn't see last chapter. So everyone in Wano is a target for my vengeance. You will reap what you've sown. Then from a room in the back, he produced a tribute for Kaido. A great stock of weapons and many hundreds of kidnapped people. They'll be sold, tortured, or killed. Once handed over, their lives will be finished, their fate sealed. Lord Oden was furious, but then Orochi made a suggestion. You want to stop the kidnapping? But if you go to war against us, you will lose far more than you bargained for. The enemy was an agent of vengeance with no interest in the good of the country. It was clear that more would be lost than just a question of victory or defeat. So Lord Oden chose to accept Orochi's offer. If he made a public dance in the buff at the same time every week as an apology to the Kurozumi clan, then he would lose all of his standing, but he would save 100 lives with each dance.
Yo! Oden did this for 5 years. Oden literally saved every single person in Wano. Thanks to this. For every time he did this once a week for 5 years. For every dance he did in the buff, in the flower capital, in front of the castle, he kept 100 people from being killed that day. Even when they called him a fool of a lord, even when they looked down on him and wondered why was he still around, this man was fighting to save everyone's life. This is why Oden is the greatest. I now understand why Whitebeard called him brother, because Oden is in a completely different league than anyone has ever seen before. Wow. Lost all the respect of the people, but he was saving every single person. Kept them from being tortured, sold, or killed, and kidnapped. All because of this. He trusted their promise that 5 years later, they would agree to sail away from this country when they were done building their ships. So he traveled from region to region every week, making certain that nothing had changed. For all of these years, Lord Oden has been protecting this land. So tell me again, who are you calling a fool of a lord? And she says with tears in her eyes. And Oden is right here in this last panel, bleeding and literally dying, muscles tearing and bleeding from his arms and feet and all over his body, holding up his vassals so that they can live. Even in the middle of his own execution, he's still saving people. And that's the end of the chapter. We don't get one until next week. We're not going on break. Good Lord. I'm going to be real with you guys. I've never been big on reading stories and big stories and staying with the stories multiple times. But One Piece has to be one of the few pieces of, literature storytelling that I honestly have to say just continues to surprise me at every turn. This really does show that Oda is capable of delivering a coherent story that does not seem like it falters at any turn. The more people that get introduced, it's almost like, wow, this is such good storytelling. That's basically what I'm saying. This is such good storytelling. And all that time we were wondering what was the deal, or what deal did Odin make with Orochi in order for something to happen, because there's got to be some deal. What did he strike with Odin to make this man who was able to sail not only with the strongest man in the world, but the man who would become king of the pirates and be able to interact with the both of them? But this ridiculously strong and powerful man, what deal was made with Orochi in order for him to be made to dance like a fool in the buff in front of the flower capital this whole time? This is the end of the chapter. I'm starting my review now. So now it's revealed that basically Orochi does not care about anything that has to do with Wano. Due to the persecution that the Kurozumi clan, brought on themselves because they wanted to kill everyone that was linked to the Shogun so they could rule over Wano by themselves, Orochi took it upon himself to, continue that string of vengeance. So his line of vengeance is basically, he does not care about anybody or anything of Wano. He doesn't care if they're tortured. He doesn't care if they're killed. He just wants Wano to die. That is his vengeance that the Kozuki clan and pretty much everyone else that was against the Kurozumi clan, that's pretty much his whole stance on everything. So when he brought Kaido in, he pretty much let Kaido do whatever he wants. The factories being brought in, so much of the wildlife and vegetation of Wano being destroyed just by Kaido and Orochi's influence. This is all part of Orochi's vengeance against everyone in Wano. But the deal that was made with Orochi to Odin was, for every time you dance once a week in the buff like a mad fool, regardless of the weather, asking for change and scraps, that saves 100 people in Wano. And Odin did this relentlessly and almost pretty much religiously for 5 years straight. For every one time he danced, he saved 100 people. And he did this for 5 long years. So, to put that into perspective, let's see. So, to put that into perspective, there are, well, give or take sometimes, depending on if it's a leap year or not, there are 52 weeks within a single year. And let's say he does this on a Sunday. Let's say he does, how many Sundays are in a year? Let's say he does this once every Sunday. So there's 52 weeks, so that's 52 Sundays. So that's essentially 52 days that he's just dancing out there, and for every 100 person, for every one time he does that within a week, he's saving 100 people. So if we times 52 days times 100 people, I hope I'm doing my math right because I don't do it often. So apologies if I just butcher this whole thing. Now, mind you, it's kind of difficult to judge the populace of how many people are actually in Wano, but he's saving well over like 5,200 people, give or take. And that was that's in a single year. So if we do 52 times
5. That's 260. That's 260 times that he's done that. So if we do 260 times 100, that is 26,000. But like I said, we don't know the full populace of Wano overall. But yeah, Oden is pretty much
sacrificing his own dignity, his own nobility, his own right standing that he has with everyone in Wano for the sake of everyone in Wano. And the fact that as soon as he jumps into the pot to boil himself, he says, if me and my vassals last as long as you dictate, can we all go free? Kaido says, okay. And Orochi's all like, wait, what's going on here? So Oden drops in, and then his vassals try to jump in after him. But as soon as they get on the plank, he keeps them from jumping into the pot by holding them up over himself. Now we know that Oden is strong, but we already seen, like in a panel earlier, that a single regular human being is literally killed instantly when he jumps in for a quick second and then jumps out. His body is literally melted almost down to the bone. So Oden is literally just standing in the pot, which is hot enough to kill a regular person, just standing there holding up all of his vassals by himself. And time goes on. Orochi was so happy, was so looking forward to it killing him instantly, but it didn't. People out there who are hoping that it would kill him instantly are getting bored because he's still there and he's still surviving. And Kaido's indifferent to it. He's just enjoying it. And he's actually applauding Oden for being able to survive that long. So even though Kaido is a pirate, he still can respect power when he sees it. Because you don't see Kaido giving compliments to a lot of people. Because he pretty much hates a whole bunch of people. But Oden is pretty much sacrificing his entire well-being to keep his vassals alive for however long he's supposed to stay there. And then Shinobu is explaining all that's going on to all the denizens of Wano. But I wonder if it's going to have a lasting effect on the people after all is said and done. Because I wonder, because some people are not easily swayed when they learn the truth. If you thought that something was the truth for 5 years straight, someone telling you that this is wrong or this is what's been going on this whole time, after those 5 years, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for you to fully accept unless you have proof. So, and I'm not saying that that's what they need, but at the same time, I don't know how people are going to behave now that Shinobu has told them the truth. Will they react complete opposite? Will they be appreciative of Oden? We don't know. We'll have to find out next week. But overall, I remember a few weeks ago, people thought that Shinobu might be a traitor after this chapter. I'm saying definitely not. I never thought that Shinobu was a traitor. You know what I thought? All I saw was people saying Shinobu's a traitor, and they all use the same panel where she's walking by herself through the city as a way of making people think like, oh, she's walking by herself. How did she get free? And she's looking all somber. And you see how she's behaving? You see how her saying this or not saying that? Shinobu's the traitor. This is why I don't try to put down concrete facts to say that, oh, this person is the traitor. I put out theories of stuff that could maybe happen. But I wait until the chapter comes out so we can get concrete evidence. Because I'd hate for me to say like, oh, Shinobu's the traitor. This chapter pops up, and now everyone's all like, now people are going to be second guessing themselves now because, well, you know, people tend to do that. But I'm glad this is just another reason why I like Shinobu, because even though a lot of people like to say that she was a traitor, but it's clear. What's your quick thoughts? My quick thoughts on this: Oden is quite possibly one of the greatest characters that Oda has ever made for One Piece. That was the last chapter. People were theorizing she was a traitor long ago. Yeah, but that one panel just added fuel to that traitor fire, because people thought I know people thought that she was a traitor long before that last chapter, but it was just certain panels with Shinobu in it. People would use that as a thumbnail to try and say that, oh, this is Shinobu. She's a traitor. I'm just thinking back to the last panel where people were really using that image of her walking through the city as as some sort of leverage for her being a traitor because of the view that the panel gave her. But my quick thoughts, Oden is by far one of the greatest One Piece characters ever created. His entire story, like, we've seen this man grow up. We see this man interact with some of the greatest people in One Piece that we've seen so far. See him raise a family, have a wonderful wife who we still don't know the ins and out of because we still haven't seen more talks of Toki and how she came from like 800 years ago. But we've seen this man go from being a brash person that really didn't care what people thought of him. How can one man hold up 9 samurai? Because he's a boss. He is the boss. He is the absolute boss. He is the mad lad of Wano. He is, if Escanor lived in Wano, Escanor would see Oden as an equal. Now, I know Escanor is, very prideful, so I'm pretty sure he wouldn't see him in the 7 deadly sins. But when it comes to just how awesome Oden is, like, he went from being a brash individual that didn't care what people thought, he did whatever he wanted, to becoming a lord that everyone saw as the future for Wano. People loved him, people praised him, people thought nothing but good things about him when he came back from his final voyage with Roger, where they all separated and they all parted ways. And this man, and even when Toki got shot in the leg, this man was ready to go to war the moment he saw that scar. The moment he saw that his wife was wounded, he took the same swords that was used to cut a giant mountain god boar from mouth to back and was willing to kill everyone involved to, avenge his wife's leg. His wife didn't die. His wife just got hurt. And that was enough for him to kill everyone involved. If it wasn't for that Berry no Mi user, then Orochi would be dead. But this man went from being selfish to selfless. And the fact that even in his final moments where he could basically just give up, he chooses to sacrifice his own well-being and own body just to keep the others who serve under him alive. If we can survive this long in the pot, then you let them go. Man is literally letting himself be killed slowly just so everyone else can remain alive. And he even allowed himself to become an absolute fool of a lord in the eyes of every single individual in Wano, going to different regions to make sure everyone was okay. Every time he went to a region, he was making sure that everyone was okay. If he was acting like a fool in those regions, it was only because to make sure that those 100 people he did for every single dance stayed alive. He literally was looking out for Wano, even when everyone ostracized him, even when everyone hated his guts, even when people got so fed up with him dancing in the buff year after year after year, he still held to his guns and held the future of Wano in his heart and in his mind. And he did not care that if people looked at him, and he didn't care about his dignity at this point. He couldn't care less about his dignity. What mattered was his country and the people living in it and his family. That is all that mattered to him. His dignity means nothing if the people of Wano suffered because of it. That's why Oden is one of the greatest characters in One Piece. Because you get to sympathize with him. We've seen him grow up. We've seen him go on all these adventures. We get to see, and we all know the plight of Wano. We've seen it in the present day. But to see it back then, and watch as Oden felt a certain type of way about Wano, because we already have our own opinions on Wano. Like, we want to see it freed from the tyranny that is Kaido and Orochi. But to see it from Oden's standpoint and how much better Wano could have been if he was still alive, all the more reason to sympathize with him and to support him. But this chapter right here just solidifies that Oden is by far one of the greatest individuals that One Piece has ever introduced to us. And the man has not even passed yet in this chapter. There's not much more I can say. 10 out of 10 chapter. Because I have so much respect for Odin. Just from all the things that he's done.
How long have I been going on? Have I been screaming? Please forgive me if I've been screaming. 35 minutes? That's not bad at all. But overall, I thought this was a very, very, very good chapter. The real Greg McKinley. Yo, what's going on? Sorry you may be coming in on like near the tail end of this stream. I've already given my review of this chapter. This chapter is a 10 out of 10. If not for what all the things have led up to this point and all this revelation that Shinobu just dropped on us, I have the utmost respect for Odin, and he's one of my top 5 characters out of One Piece overall. We have Odin and Pirate Warriors 4 when it'd be cool. Because who knows? Because as many of you know, if you've been following the game like I have, you know that we're getting like a DLC character pack. And I don't know if that's going to be the only one or if they're going to release more. But it'd be if they give us like characters like Odin to play as, that'd be something. That'd be insane. I'd probably lose it because of how much respect I got for this guy. But there's only a few people that I have the utmost respect for. Now, sure, I could say that I respect Luffy a whole lot, but he's the main character. You can chalk it up to that just a little bit. But some of the people that tend to be like side characters just a little bit sometimes, I have the utmost respect for Fujitora because he's the only admiral that we've seen so far that actually has a conscience. And even though he operates in the ways of the Marines sometimes, his motives still fall in line with protecting civilians and putting his own morality above that of absolute justice. Being the only admiral so far to actually apologize for his own actions and even say that the world government is at fault here and it's no one else's fault but ours for allowing such a travesty, Dressrosa event, the Dressrosa incident, to happen is our fault. It is not on you, so please forgive us. And to do that publicly in the eyes of everyone around, that just shows you that Fujitora is by far one of the greatest admirals ever. Then you got Kuzan, who's off doing his own thing, but he's operating on his own sense of justice. But at the same time, he still has a better morality center than the other admirals like Kizaru or Sakazuki. But Fujitora, I have immense respect for Rocinante because he went out of his way. He went out of his way to, go up against his brother Doflamingo, who he already knew was incredibly more powerful than him. I mean, Dofi already had the Ito no Mi, and Rocinante already had the fruit, already had like that fruit that only makes things quiet, but it didn't really help him. He did all of it, and even in Rocinante's last moments, he used the last of his devil fruit power to keep the chest that Law was in quiet, so that no one could tell that he was in there. Garp is up there too. This dude, that moment when during the Marineford War, War of the Best, Paramount War, Summit War, whichever title you want to use for it, when Ace died, and this man was really this man was about to risk it all. This man was literally about to put his own standing as a vice admiral in jeopardy just to go and kill Akainu after he killed Ace. It took Sengoku holding him down to keep him from killing Akainu, because even though Garp is hard up for being a big Marine and everything, he still values family. And the fact that he saw someone he helped raise die in front of him and he couldn't do anything about it, and he was still really ready to kill another admiral, and you all know that he was more than capable of killing Akainu. I don't care if Akainu had the ability to bring the sun in close proximity of the earth. Garp was going to kill that man. Akainu has a devil fruit that lets him turn into magma that can literally melt anything and cause massive injuries to whoever even touches him.
I do not doubt that Garp would have been able to just straight up kill Akainu, no problem. Gotta go sleep now. It's 5:09 a.m. Good talking to you. Hey, man, get you some sleep. Don't stay up on my account. Get you some rest, man. This will be up later. Whitebeard. Oh, I'm getting to him too. Whitebeard went out of his way to become like the strongest man in the world, but at the same time, his objective was just to have a family. He didn't care about having an immense amount of treasure because every treasure that he sent went back to his hometown. His poverty-stricken what is the word for it? Poverty-stricken. What is the word I'm looking for? Poverty-stricken, hostile like environment. Yes, I'll just use that for a placeholder. His poverty-stricken, violence-oriented town that he kept sending money to because they didn't have the money to be protected by the world government or to send tributes to the world nobles. He kept sending his own homeland. I kind of use it as the same thing. But he kept sending money to his homeland to keep them from, becoming poverty-stricken. Again, everything he sent was to make sure that his home was still fine. It was still operating fine. They still got the supplies they needed. Everyone was living all right. Everything he earned during his entire life as a pirate went back to his home to provide for everybody. You respect the Frankie family. Now, here's the thing. I haven't delved too deeply into the Frankie family, so my history on them is a little bit lost on me at the moment, so I apologize if I don't mention them. But Whitebeard doesn't command power or command respect from the people around him just based on his power alone, but it's because people respect him. And for him his entire pirate crew, he considers them all his children, his sons and daughters, with Odin being the only exception that Whitebeard view as a brother, which can kind of set up, explain just what level and how much respect Whitebeard had for Odin. Like, he didn't even like the fact that Odin wanted to go with Roger for just 1 year. 1 year. Whitebeard didn't like that at all. He didn't like being apart from someone he called a brother. But all the people on Whitebeard's crew consider them his children, and everyone who's linked to Whitebeard had an utmost respect for him, except for Blackbeard. And we kind of know how that whole event went on. Even when Squard, for a moment, betrayed Whitebeard and stabbed him based on the machinations of Akainu and, Akainu manipulating Squard, Whitebeard still forgave Squard in spite of his foolish actions, even calling him a foolish son. Even though you're my foolish son, I still love you. And that pretty much just squared up to Squard that, hey, Whitebeard is force. He's not against us. He didn't bring us here to die by the hands of the Marines. He's actually here to save Ace, and kind of left Squard in tears because of what he did. So, and the fact that he even kept his own crewmates from trying to aid him in facing down Blackbeard, because it would have been better for them to escape than for a lot of them to be injured fighting Blackbeard due to, well, what Blackbeard was trying to do at the time, and the nature of his devil fruit could have very much hinder a lot of some of his crewmates when it comes to their abilities. But Smoker should be respected. He wanted to do what Fujitora did, but he didn't have the power. Smoker has respect from me as well. Rayleigh, very much. But Odin is quite possibly, I want to say, my second most favorite character thus far. You got to respect all the Minks after what happened with Raizo. Yes, they went toe-to-toe with Jack for so long. Nekomamushi ended up losing a leg, losing an arm, and then Inuarashi ended up losing a leg, all to keep Raizo safe. Even when Jack was fighting them for day in, day out, and even when they got hit with poison that pretty much impaired every single one of them, because Jack was cheap like that, they still resolved to not give up Raizo's location. So respect to the Minks. Then we have all the 9 scabbards who, even after Odin had died, they were willing to go against Orochi and pretty much everything he was doing in present-day Wano to bring about the vengeance of Odin, even going as far as potentially putting themselves in jeopardy in order to get rid of Kaido and get rid of Orochi. So the 9 Scabbards are awesome. But at the same time, we still don't know where Denjiro is. Yasu. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot about Yasu. This man, Shimotsuki Yasuye. What can be said about this man? This man, even when, because as many of you know, many of the denizens of Leftover Town have been afflicted by the effects of defective smiles, which keeps them from feeling any other emotion outwardly except for smiling and laughing. Both Yasuye was affected by this, and his daughter Toko was affected by this. And Yasu went out of his, even Yasu went down to become one of the greatest dads, along with like Pound from the Whole Cake Island arc. Yasu went down in history for being the only person so far, because even though when he was captured by Orochi and then set up to be executed, he still took that moment to literally just roast Orochi moments before he was gunned down in front of everybody. To tell him that Orochi was just nothing but a parasite. Everything that he has in Wano was stolen. He didn't earn a single thing of it. And he was still doing it with a smile on his face. Though I kind of feel like that moment where he was up there at the execution and he was smiling, I want to say that was him genuinely smiling there. Like, even though most of his face was just him smiling all the time, I want to say that was that one moment where he was genuinely smiling ear to ear when he was talking down to Orochi. But it's still sad that even on his deathbed, at his death, all the people who knew him couldn't do anything. They couldn't even mourn him properly because they all been affected by the defective smiles, and they were just laughing at him. And it was not on purpose. They were doing it against their will. That's why way back when I refused to do their lines, because they were just laughing at his death, because it kind of hit me that hard. That man helped get so many people gathered together for the rebellion. And even after being deposed as a daimyo, even the little bit that he earned and he kept giving to the people for Leftover Town to make sure that they still survived. His daughter was working as a Kamazo. Kamazo? No, Kamazo is the name of Killer. What is it? What is the name that Toko has when she's working with when she was working with Hiyori? I forgot. But when Toko was working, she helped her dad as well, provide for the people of Leftover Town as well. So there's Yasu, there's Fujitora, there's Smoker, there's Rayleigh, Crocus, there's Whitebeard, Odin. There's just so many people throughout the storyline of One Piece that I have such a great amount of respect for, due to not just because they're good guys, but because of how they view the world and how they operate as individuals. Now, me, I tend to lean towards that have like a little bit of like a higher. Odin, Fujitora, Garp, Kuzan, and others are great examples of heroism, sacrifice, and yes, even manliness. No toxic masculinity to be found. Excellent examples of the best of humanity. And that's far and few between in One Piece, the characters, because even though the Straw Hats are not necessarily good guys, they don't even see themselves as good guys. They just happen to do good things at certain points. But it's individuals like you said, CJ, that really shows that despite all the evil that we see in the story, even though the world government says they're for the good of people, they only do it on their own ends and what they see as good, not for what good in the for people, but what they see as good. That's why absolute justice, regardless of what you see it as, is not a good thing. I don't care if you're a Marine. I don't care if you're a regular person. Absolute justice is not a good thing, because all it means is that we're here to enforce the law by any means necessary, even if there's human casualties involved, which is why I support Fujitora and Kuzan and Garp when it comes to their own brands of justice, because they rather put the lives of regular civilians above their own orders. So that's why they have my respect out of the Marines. Smoker as well, along with Tashigi, they both feel the same way. And Kobe as well. He's up there as well, and he's working with everyone, especially with the members of Sword. Who knows how far that's going to go? It's interesting. We need to get back to the present day to find out what's going on with the members of Sword, because we know that Diaz Drake is a part of it as well. And it's making me wonder just how many members are actually in Sword. I know I'm branching off here. Actually, we don't need this. We're already done this chapter, so I don't need this window up. I got to get started on my Hero as well. 50 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to try and wrap it up here because I don't want to keep you guys too long because we still got that other My Hero chapter to go through where Miruko, and I kept calling her Miruko, which is just the pronunciation of her name. It's actually Mirko. So Mirko has crashed into the Daruma's lab, but we'll talk about that once I start the stream up for My Hero. But there's just so many great examples of great human beings in One Piece that I am proud to say that I spent. Kyros, you're mentioning best dads. Dude, wow, how did I forget Kyros? This man, when he was turned into a one-legged skating toy soldier, was still looking out for his daughter. And as soon as he got back to his normal self, the first thing he did was cut off the head of Doflamingo. Even though it was a string clone, he prepared to fight the moment he turned back into a regular human. And even missing one leg, this man was willing to go as far as he could to ensure that his daughter was okay, that his city was okay. Even though he kind of resents himself a little bit at the time during the arc that he couldn't save Scarlet, he did what he could to make sure that his daughter was all right. But I digress. I don't want to carry this on too long. There's just so many good people. There's just so many good people in One Piece. So many great characters that I'm happy to say that I've invested so much of my life into reading. Like, it's ridiculous. Do we respect Sabo? I respect him. This man, I don't see anyone else more worthy. This is a lot to bring to a head in just 5 or so years. 8 to 10 might be more likely. Who knows? I hope and pray. I pray to God that he continues to watch over Oda so that nothing befalls him, so we can continue to get this One Piece story. Because if we never get a conclusion, Dragon, questionable. Highly questionable. We know nothing about the guy except he's Luffy's dad. And that Luffy inherited his Conqueror's Haki from him. We forgot someone. Who did we forget? Kuma? Did we forget Kuma and how he helped? Wait. Who did we forget? Don't leave me in suspense, man. Don't leave me in suspense. Bon-chan! How did I forget about Bon Clay? He really did help. If it wasn't for Bon Clay, if it wasn't for Bon Clay, Luffy wouldn't have made it to Marineford, and he wouldn't have had a part to play in Marineford. Ace would have. Wow. Do you realize just how many instances that Luffy could have failed at if it wasn't for the intervention of other people that he's befriended along the way? Not just talking about Luffy's mad high chance of luck, but the fact that he knows people who in turn later on end up helping him. Like even people who fought against him, like Crocodile, end up helping him in their own roundabout way. Wouldn't have gotten away from Alabasta if not for Bon Clay. No, wouldn't have, because he fought with Captain Hina. She was a captain at the time, right? I want to say so. But yeah, he fought with Hina to let them escape, and then they went on their merry way. Then when it came to Impel Down, Ivankov. Dude, Grant, if we keep listing so many people that has helped the Straw Hats and everyone else in the way, we would literally be here all day, because there are a ton of people. I just had to Commodore Hina, I think. Commodore. You might be right. You might be right on that one. But Ivankov helped Luffy. Bon Clay is a very self-sacrificing character, very honorable. If it wasn't for him posing as a as who would he pose as? He posed as Magellan or Hannibal in order for them to open up the gates of justice, gates of judgment. It's a little fuzzy, but if it wasn't for Bon Clay, they wouldn't have made their way over to Marineford, and then they wouldn't have played their parts there. But there's just so many people in One Piece. It goes Captain, Commodore, then Red Admiral before Vice. Okay. So Captain, Commodore. Okay, Commodore Higina then. All right. So I'm not going to keep you guys for too long. There's just so many people in One Piece. We really don't have time. Even though I could spend most of the stream talking about it, I want to go ahead. Luffy poisoning Bond saved him by taking him to Ivankov. Listen, Grant, if we keep going on all the good things that people have done for Luffy and the Straw Hats, we would literally be here all day. And I want to go ahead and get my Hero set up and get that done. And then, do my recent episode, the most recent episode of One Piece, and record that. Then I got to get back to recording more Dragon Ball because I got more games that I want to do streams for you guys. It's a little busy. How did we almost forget Yasu and Bon Clay, though? I'm sorry. I've just been interacting with a lot of people in Wano, so you'll have to forgive me if some people escape me at the time. I really do apologize if I don't remember everyone all the time. I get it's faces I remember. It's the names that just escape me sometimes. And for that, I do apologize. But as I leave you all on this note, for every one of you who showed up today, thank you for coming out to see me. One of the things my pastor has been talking about is, work on your talents and work on your gifting. And as I do this, as I stream for you guys don't even know me personally in real life. I'm just some dude on a screen, either on your phone or on your laptop. But I am happy that, did they say they got groceries? Hold on. I'll say it when I get back. Yeah, they got groceries downstairs. All right, sorry about that. It didn't take long. They had a bit of groceries. But one of my things that my pastor has been talking about lately is we all have talents that we're good at. We all have things that we're good at, and sure, a lot of people can be doing the same thing, but only you can do that thing like you. There's only the only person who can. I'm trying to find the words for it. He just said it. A lot of people can do the same thing that you do, but only you can do it the way you do it. And I've been doing this for a number of years, and I am truly happy to do this. This is what I love. This is what I love to do. I'm just pleased with what I've been doing all these years. Sure, it's taken me a while. Sorry if I'm breathing hard. It was a lot of groceries. But I'm truly happy with what I'm doing. I can't say that I see myself doing anything else, because this is where my talents lie. This is what I love to do. I don't get tired of doing this. There has never been a moment where I'm in a stream and I'm just thinking that this is a waste of time, or any videos that I upload is a waste of time. I am truly happy doing what I'm good at. So for that, I just want to say thank you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to whatever I do, whether it's these reactions or the reactions or Kyushu Views videos where I react to certain things. I'm truly thankful to be able to do this, that I'm physically able to do this, that I found out what I'm good at. I'm happy. I'm truly happy. There's nothing else I can say to it. I just want to say thank you guys for just giving me the time of day, because this channel wouldn't be good if it wasn't. This channel wouldn't be as big as it is and, you know, growing the way it is, if not by the grace of God and the patience that you guys give to me and you guys just tuning in. I know I say this a little bit, but I don't want to forget where I came from, and don't want to forget where my talents come from. You guys know I am I'm not I'm a Christian, but I'm not religious, but I don't want to forget that it was God who got me this far, not because of my own skills, not because I think I'm all that, not because I think my videos are all that, but it's because he continuously shows me mercy and favor, and I am all but grateful for it. So I just want you guys to know that I'm never going to stop doing this, and I love it, and I thank you. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my hero started. Sorry to, you know, drone on just a little bit, but I just had to pour my heart out to you guys, for all of you who are, you know, still here and just watching. But thank you. You guys mean a lot to me. This channel means a lot to me, and I am all but happy to do this for you, regardless if it's a long stream or a 20-second video. So thank you. With that being said, hope y'all enjoy. I had to get the stream to an hour. I did not even intend for that, but at the same time, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next stream, because I'm literally going to start it after this one. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples.